commissioner, so each EU member country has a commissioner that sits in the college and actually decides all the issues, because all the issues are taken by the agreement of all 27 commissioners. Well, in theory you can have a vote, but there has never been. But additionally, each commissioner is charged by the president to look for a particular area to respond for it. And for me, this area is development cooperation. So basically it means support for the developing countries from the EU policies. First, it's money transfers. We do roughly 10 billion euros aid each year all across the world. We support processes 150 countries. And secondly, development cooperation is a mixed competence of the European Union. So like a soft coordination of EU activities in the development cooperation field. So these are my activities, most associated by people that we provide health, education, social support to the countries most in need.
When you go to a country, when you deal with a country's government, do they take you completely as a Brussels person? Does it ever occur to them that you are Latvian?
Well, it's true that they take me as a Brussels person, because I dealt in the previous year with Russia, and our relationship with Russia was never easy, and they never treated me as Latvian, so there was never comment about Latvia or Latvians, so even if they have had some opinions about it, so it never was the case. So they really treat me as from my job description. But from other point of view, they're always interested in my nationality. And for example, I met President of Uganda, Museveni, and he knows about Kurland. He knows about the Second World War history. Well, he has particular passion about it, but he knows everything about Latvia, at least what happened during the Second World War. He knows about occupation. So you get a lot of also respect from the people you would say that they would not know anything about Latvia. At the same time, if I would say Ugandans as a whole, they know not enough for Latvia, but President Museveni introducing me said, well, it's 27 countries, there is a Latvia, so I'm always proud about the countries that I am representing, and the knowledge about the country is much more bigger than we would expect. I was in Vietnam, people knew about Latvia. I was in Myanmar, they also have heard about Latvia. So we are small, but we are noticed in the world. Well, it has changed, because in a way, the risk is that when you have a big college, that each commissioner could start speaking like a representative of the government, because all of us have been appointed as a candidates for the job from the government. And President Barroso have tried always to eradicate it, so there is no such a thing as being advocate for the country. But at the same time, definitely everybody expects that you will take a floor and express the sentiments about the country. What does it mean? Why we are so obsessed, for example, with direct subsidies to farmers? What is the reason for it? What about structural funds? Why the capping makes such a big political misunderstanding with Latvian people and Latvian governments? That is what is expected, but you can't expect that you can win support on the college based on the national argument, because everybody understands if you help once, then you are open to everybody. And there's so many national sensitivities in 27 countries, and sometimes they are contradictory. For example, for direct payments, we would like to cut it much higher for Latvia. For other countries, actually, they would prefer to keep the same system. So means that it's very difficult to find the consensus if you work on the just basis of national arguments. I never felt differently, and I think, with each year, I think with the age, in a way, I think even more Latvian than ever before. But Latvian means that I am not contradictory to the ideas of European integration, that I am in contradiction to the good neighborship relation. So I know more. As more I know, the more Latvian I become. So I would say there is no contradictory. And that I believe is a lot of people. I recently read the interview with our now, I think, the top sportsman and skeleton, Martins Dukurs. And he says basically the same. He feels at home here. He has seen a lot of countries, and definitely being in this highest peak, he could also stay somewhere outside Latvia, but he prefers to be here because he feels like this. And that's why I would say it's the same with me. I understand that some people will perhaps are more bitter and they somehow feel, well, Latvian identity, is it good or bad? But for me, it is just something very positive, and I don't feel that I need any other identity. I think there are parts that we could bring more. I think what we need really to try to bring more, it's our language, our culture. I think that is something that I would believe that we need to think how to strengthen this part of this. What we have brought two things. Ability to quickly to change things. We regained independence 1991. We joined the European Union already 2004, and we went through the crisis extremely well with decent support of society. So that means that definitely demonstrates the resilience and unity in the country in the very difficult circumstances that some other countries could learn from us. So I think this part of us, resilience, strength, is definitely well noticed. But I would say it's the other part that's much more difficult really to communicate because there are 27 EU countries and it's actually more cultural identities than just 27 in the EU. So it is where the challenge is, but I believe we have all the chance because we have unique language and that is our strength. What I wish definitely is that Latvia would be more outspoken advocate for more European integration. Because we are sometimes hesitant about it, because our change in history has been so fast, and we sometimes, we are afraid that if we will be more advocate for European Union, we will be seen like straight breakers or something like this, because a lot of countries saying, well, it's too much integration and this. But we have seen that we have not changed our identity. We stayed as we are. At the same time, has given us a lot of new chances. I still remember, for example, border crossings when the borders have been crossed to Estonia. Our staying humiliation and what is the economic damage it made. And nowadays nobody even remembers this. So that's why I would say for us it would be more important to demonstrate political leadership also for integration. Because of this particular focus that we overcame crisis by far better than a lot of other countries, we have a lot of credibility. So I wish that we could develop this courage saying, well, we could go more than that and not to fall in some pitfalls that some other countries have for other reasons, not exactly related to Europe. Well, for example, when we talk about immigration or integration issues in France, it's much more complicated than just to say it's European problems, that's why we got it. No, it's not exactly. France history is much more complex than this, and definitely Europe has at least, the impact on integration issues in France. Actually, it helps more integration if we have much more stronger Europe. So I believe that much more stronger Europe and much more integrated Europe is good for us, and we could demonstrate more leadership. That what would be my wish. I understand that politically it's not so easy. It's much more easier to always blame EU and then say we are the good ones, but I think we could change this usual pattern and be more forward-looking.